Thank you, Giacomo. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. GiStandards Ltd are an SME, a very small enterprise. So I'm going to tell you a bit about our role, or the role of the company, in this project. Can it go on? Technology always defeats me. You never believe I've been in this business for 40 years. Right. Okay, so GiStandards Ltd is a small company specialist in standards in this area. One of the things that it does as a major activity is it runs the Secretariat of the European Standards Committee for GI. I'm actually chairman of that committee. I'm not the Secretariat. I'm presenting this on his behalf. And GiStandards are a partner in various EU-funded projects, as well as SME Spire, Nature SDI+, iScope, SG, SDI, and various others. So what we try and do is have an input into the various projects in order to link in to the standards process within Europe. And there's a general role in trying to run promotional events and to promote generally standards for GI throughout Europe. I mentioned CEN TC 287, which I'm chairman of. This is the Standards Committee for GI within Europe. And it has various formal tasks. Its membership comprises essentially national standards bodies from each of the European states. But we also have liaisons from projects, from other organisations, standards organisations. Many of the projects like SME Spire that's talked about here, and organisations such as JRC. So we have a formal role in adopting the ISO standards as CEN standards. CEN is the European Committee for Standards. And the reason for doing that is so that they can be mandated within Europe and as European projects. ISO standards don't have any formal status. They are optional. They can be adopted or not. But if we make them into CEN standards, then they can become mandatory under Inspire and other projects. We also have a role in development of new standards, specifications and profiles of standards, particularly for Inspire, to underpin the implementing rules as they become available. So we link in with JRC and the Inspire project in that respect. One of the things we've been doing quite a lot of work on is in developing technical guidance and best practice documentation, and I'll come back to that a bit more in a moment, and also tomorrow. And as I said, we have collaboration with other standards-related activities, including ISO TC 211, and their chairman is here, OGC, and various other organisations and projects such as GEOS, GMES, and so on. And our sixth role is in the promotion of use and education on standards for GI. Now, it's a very speeded up view of what CEN TC 287 are doing. We're having a workshop on their activities tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. So those of you who wake up early enough, there's an hour and a half of European standards, which is really enthralling stuff, and I'm sure you're all going to want to come along to it. But I will explain in more detail about all these activities that we do. The main point today is to talk about how we link in with SME Spire. And there are two main areas. Firstly, liaison with the committee and OGC, who are also doing workshops tomorrow. So the idea is to enable us to get input from SMEs into the standardisation process, because in general it's the big players who have input into that, not smaller organisations. And we're able to provide that linkage via projects like SME Spire and the way that we've set up our committee. And secondly, we can go the other way and disseminate to SMEs and the partners in the project what is happening in standards development currently. One particular thing that is relevant to this project, and Giacomo mentioned it earlier, is setting up a best practice catalogue online. And this is actually in parallel with a CEN project that we're running. And we're looking to collect best practice information, as Giacomo mentioned. We're getting it from the other parts of the project, particularly the first part that Danny was talking about, the repository of various EU-funded projects who we have as liaisons on our committee, the committee itself and its members, direct experience within this project from the various partners, and various other liaisons that we have from outside organisations. So we're looking to get best practice from all sorts of sources, both successful and unsuccessful, because you often learn a lot more from failures than you do from successes. And we're going to build a repository of best practice based on the technical work that's been going on under CEN TC 287. And again, that will be discussed in much more detail tomorrow. This is just to tell you how we link into SME SPA. So that's probably about enough from me.
Thank you.
That's what we're contributing to the project.
Thank you very much.